Hey guys, this is just a little talking video about what to buy for the 9800X3D build. Everything is gonna be my personal opinion, and obviously you can see from my camera I already purchased the 9800X3D, and I have also purchased a motherboard for that particular chip. Now I haven't opened up this motherboard yet, so you will see me unboxing and do a quick review of this. But it's gonna be a talking head video. A reason why I buy this. First of all, is the price. If you look over to all the X870 motherboard that's available, looking at the prices, we're locating this as part of United States, and let's see from the top there. Where do I throw this guy? Throw that guy in the bottom. All right. So the reason why I buy this is because the price. Obviously, looking at this particular motherboard on this on the selection here, it's the second cheapest, and you also get the Gigabyte X870. To be honest, I would recommend all of them for the price. Pretty much everything in the first 8, I suppose, 7, 8 are my recommendation for Ryzen 980 X3D. Sorry, 9800 X3D build. One biggest thing for me, obviously, is the price, and second is the potential Wi-Fi support. Now, obviously, if everybody want to do competitive gaming, they should be using a wired connection. They should not be using Wi-Fi. But for a lot of people, that's not an option. And if I were actually go through the options over here, obviously I have select Wi-Fi 7 for filter. Yes, there are tons of cheaper motherboard for this particular chip. If you filter it out for AM5, if you really wanted to, you could, go back to the PC builder, pop in your CPU in there, and then voila, you're gonna get a whole bunch of options, and you can sort by price. But in terms of like feature set, and to be honest, one of the cheapest X870 motherboard is your best bet. It will give you the best feature sets. Now, going from, should you go for X870E? Yeah, sure. If you really want certain, feature sets. The reason I personally will go to a X870E is, there's not many options, and you probably opt into getting the X870E Aero's Elite Wi-Fi here, which is still a pretty decent price, but you're still paying $100 more compared to all the other motherboards out there. But if I were buying for myself, I would buy the ProArt because of certain features that it offers. Obviously, everybody's usage is different. The only thing for me, for this particular motherboard, is the 10 gig networking. Some people would say, well, why you could just go buy a 10 gig card. You can just put it in the bottom slot. But sometimes it's not an option because you have other accessories, components that you might need to put into the motherboard. That would not give you that option if you end up having those components. Now, going back to why I want to buy this cheaper X870 motherboard, to be honest, there's just only a couple features for me that makes the most sense, and I'll select them based on what it can offers. Now, obviously, the first thing I would do in this case, I would just go to PC part picker and select the options. So now I'm gonna go back and going back in and going back to the default. Now the option I'm interested into, not obviously it's not the same for everybody, is a particular this particular feature sets I want. Now, what do I want from the board? Well, first thing is I want Wi-Fi 7 because this particular PC, yes, I will eventually, use a wire connection, but if I would need to move it around, use Wi-Fi 7, I do have Wi-Fi 7 at home, and it will be one of the second best option compared to a wired network. Speaking of wired network, this particular board offers 5 gigabit networking, which I do have 10 gig, up to 10 gig at home, but I would just select these options so I could potentially get into getting those options as I'm filtering it down. Now, SSD slot for me, I'll be okay with 3. And PCS slot, full size lens one, I'll be just okay with 2. And obviously gonna use DDR5, that is a given at this moment in time. And that filters down basically to give you these following options. And if you look at the price for all the feature sets I want, this is the only board that's available. Obviously I could go buy a little bit more, but during the Black Friday and Canada's Boxing Day sale, this board actually went down less than this. It was about 179, 169 or something like that. So it's really bang for the buck motherboard. Now, this is a quick unboxing, just so I can show you what this board kind of offers in the box with all this accessories. Go back and give you my camera. Maybe I should try it out this way. So, first thing in the box, you'll find this thing. I don't know if there's anything in there. Oh, there's something in there. You got your Wi-Fi antenna. And that's it. Now, these new motherboards supposedly come with new style Wi-Fi antenna connector. I'll show you once I open up the board. And inside the case, or inside the box, you got some notes here for your regulatory service, quick installation guide. You got what it looks like a standoff screwdriver. I don't know, like one of those handheld. Oh, this is for one of these. It looks like an SSD standoff. You know what? We can quickly look at these manuals, see if anything would give me an indication what that is. And that's okay. Once we open the board, we can find out what they are. And then we have what it looks like. Fan. Oh, it's a RGB and fan header adapter. It's probably for the motherboard. So you have the RGB connection here, and you have your. And you know what? I'll just open it up for you guys. So this one is actually a little header that probably goes on the motherboard. That splits off to give you a fan header, and then let me try to put that back in. And then on the other side, give you the 5-volt RGB connector, which is quite neat if you actually want to like run less cables onto your motherboard, so it'll make your cable management a little bit neater. And then you got the two SATA cable. One is a straight cable, one that has the 90-degree band cable. And beyond that, let's open up the board. Let's see what we got. So this board is already quite well built as I'm taking it out of the bag. You already see that there's two CPU power header, which for me, I'll probably just end up using one. And then, you know, that's just sufficient enough for the CPU. And then we got all the fan headers over here, and that's for the CPU, pump, system fan, more system fan, more system fan, another 5-volt RGB header. You got your 24-pin power header. You got your USB-C header, and then you got your four and then you got your 4 SATA header, and you got a right angle USB 3.0 header down here. And here there's a lot of fan headers. Now we also have a fan header here, the front panel connector. I don't know what this connector is. I'll need to look up on the owner's manual. One of these are, I think this one is the jumper for the CMOS clear. Down here, there's another power for your PCIe lanes. We got your audio jack header, and there's a more RGB header. So this is a 12-volt header here, and there's a 5-volt header here. And to be honest, I don't know what these ones are. I'll need to look up on the owner's manual. And I wonder where this extension cable goes. Oh, it goes right over here. Yeah, it goes right over here. So that gives you the ability to pretty much not use many of these fan headers instead of using a fan hub. Do have a very simple one, just kind of right beside me here. And grab one of these. Kind of tight. You'll need to plug that in to here if you got a fan hub or something like that, and then you can set up all your fans this way. So yes, the motherboard supports lots of fan headers, but if you want a cleaner cable management, this is what you do. You use a fan hub. Now, the other option I was looking into was just the M.2 SSD compatibility. Now, we got one sits right here. We got one sits here and here. Now, obviously, yeah, they don't come with the like SSD cover or heatsink cover or anything like that. Aesthetically, yeah, it's not pleasant, but for me, all my SSDs or majority of my SSD come with a heatsink cover anyways. So in the future, I will be testing two of the SSD I purchased during the holiday season, which is a 990 Pro from Samsung, and then a Crucial T700 Pro. Now, in terms of pricing, this Gen 5 SSD is only about $30 more than this one at the time of sale. So it would be interesting to find which one of these would be a better buy. But put the SSD aside, we do have all of our SSD slots here, and I believe they're all Gen 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the next thing I'm looking at, obviously, your graphics card sits right here, and you're gonna have a couple full PCIe lane slots for me to use. But if you look at this board carefully, if you actually look at like on an angle, you can see how many actual lanes electrical lanes it can support. Because looking from an angle, I can only see pins up to around here. So basically, that just tells me this is a 2x or 1x slot. Same with this one. And if you look at the bottom one over here, that looks like a 4x slot to me. So so these ones are just 2x, I believe. I could look it up, but it looks like 1x, but it could be 2x. And this one is a 4x because you can see it's a little bit, the pins are going a little bit further and longer than these ones does. For me, if you got a more premium board, you're gonna have full size lane support on some of these slots. Depends on the board, but for me, this is majority gonna be used for just gaming and light workstation stuff. Is not gonna have that many expansion slots to be used. So I don't care for the other slots. Coming on the side here, it does give you quite a bit of connectivity options. Now, if you get the X870E, you're going to end up getting two of the 40 gigabit USB-C connectors, But for me, I don't really care for these options, or I'm not gonna be fully utilizing these options. So having a 40 gig and a 120 gig SoC is just good enough for me. And obviously we got an HDMI sys here, so you can use the integrated graphics. You got your USB 5 gig here, 2 10 gig here, and you got a whole bunch of USB 2.0s right here. So really, in terms of like connectivity, these are ideally just for your keyboard, mice, things like that. And if you need to connect higher speed devices, you got to use these ones here. For me, I look at it, I was like, okay, so I got a mouse and keyboard. That's gonna be using 2 of these already, so I don't need that many of connectivity. So that's why I end up deciding to purchase this board. Now we do have a simple BIOS flashback and clear CMOS button here, so you really don't need to jump the pins on the motherboard unless this button is broken or anything like that. And then you got the Wi-Fi 7, and typically the audio out, which in this case is only 3 audio out. Some motherboard offer you 6. For typical audiophile guys, this doesn't even matter because you're gonna end up using a DAC anyway, so you're gonna using a USB 2.0 slot. So that's one of the things I'll be using is USB keyboard, a DAC. So that's already taking up 3 of these slots, and I can reserve all the other ones for other devices I want to connect. And on the back, really nothing fancy, no back plate, nothing. And then compared to AM4, you got your nice sturdy back plate that I believe is mounted as part of the socket here. So if you do disconnect these ones and these ones, the back plate will fall off. So yeah, that kind of concludes my little overview and unboxing of this particular motherboard and the reason why I bought it. And obviously you guys will need different features and options for your motherboard. And hopefully you guys enjoy this video and maybe decide to buy this particular motherboard for your own personal use. And we'll see you next time.